Hey guys, what is up? How you doing? Welcome back to our Wednesday, where we're not doing something arty today. So you're on my new phone, which the phone case has a holder, so you're on the holder. I got tagged in a video challenge, so we're gonna do that. I was actually gonna skip Wednesday's video because I was just not feeling good at all. I'm feeling a little better though. So let's get into it. This is gonna be a Q&A video. We got 10 questions to answer, and I was tagged by, hold on, Crochet Customs on YouTube, so make sure to go and watch her channel. She's awesome. She market preps like me. Okay, you guys are too far away. I put you on my phone holder, my Stitch one. But yeah, we got 10 questions, and this is going to get, so you guys can learn more about me. So I'm looking at it on my laptop, so yeah. I am going to tag 2 people as well. If they want to join, they don't have to. Now, these people probably don't know who I am, but I feel like Crochet Corner 0114. I feel like she would do great. And Passionate Kelsey, because I love her. She's awesome. But again, I don't think they know who I am, so yeah. So, question 1, how did I learn to crochet? I am self-taught. So, originally when I was like 10 years old, as always, my grandma tried to teach me how to knit, and it just did not work. Couldn't figure it out. So, later on, I learned with the loom bands, like those small rubber bands, and I actually found a picture of me trying to sell that stuff, and I'm like, I was looking at those pictures, and I'm kind of mortified. But, we all have to start somewhere. And I started there. So, why do they always go to the alert box when I'm trying to record? I was working on this while I waited. Okay. Yeah, so after I figured out how to do the magic ring with the loom bands, I was like, okay, I figured it out with this. The yarn can't be much harder. I was wrong. So, I think I actually learned from... oh, what's her name on YouTube? Jaden Stitches on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I learned how to crochet from her. Not her specifically, like, for everything, but I think she was the one that taught me the basics and everything. And I slowly started to do amigurumi, and it was ugly. Obviously, it's much better now. I don't think I started to go to plush yarn until maybe, like, 4 years ago. I think for the longest time, I was only doing blankets and acrylic stuff. But yeah, that's how I started learning amigurumi and all that. Crochet Corner on YouTube also, if you're into blankets, he's awesome. I love Mikey. Okay, next question. What is your favorite thing to crochet? So I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. 1, amigurumi. This is a custom, by the way. And but my favorite thing to crochet is amigurumi. If you're talking, and the second part, I think the favorite thing to make is gonna be chickens. I love how simple they are. I love how diverse they are, and right now they're my #1 seller. They haven't been selling that good because I raised the price on a couple things, but the market also hasn't been that busy lately. So, but chickens, I love them. I actually need to make more of them, but I'm not gonna have time this week. Okay, so number 3. If I could only use one yarn for the rest of my life, what would it be? Now, again, I'm gonna answer this in 2 parts. If, hopefully, Michael starts carrying Juicy Couture yarn, that is the yarn I would pick, Juicy Couture. I love it. It is my go-to. I have plenty, but I'm trying not to use it. If Michael's were to pick up Juicy Couture and it would become a permanent thing, I would 100% use that as my yarn. If it does not come back, I would say just chenille yarn. Or chenille yarn in general. Maybe not just like that yarn, but like maybe the loops and thread. Because, like, look how pretty this is. This would make a beautiful dragon. So, Juicy Couture, if not chenille yarn. So the next question actually doesn't pertain to me in a way. So I'm gonna change it. But it is, what is the weirdest thing you've ever made? And I don't personally make weird things. So everything I made is pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna do what's the coolest thing I've ever made. And I would have to say the coolest thing I've ever made was the jumbo mushy boy, the giant one, the absolute beast. He was the coolest thing I've ever made, and I will never make him again. I wouldn't possibly make a smaller version, but never the big one again. It was just, that hat drove me insane. But yeah, that is the coolest thing I've ever made. So the next item is something that you'll never crochet. I'm going to answer this in two parts again. Something I would personally never do for amigurumis. Oh, look at that color change. That's really bad. Some people like to add booty cheeks to their plushies, especially like the frogs and turtles. I would never personally do that. I just couldn't in a good mind do that. So most of my clientele it's very specific. It's very younger, up to 10 years old age, and then it kind of jumps to young adults. And I just don't feel like booty cheeks are appropriate for the younger audience that I have. I mean, I can't. So yeah. I would personally never do that. But there's something I would never actually like crochet. Because that's just an accent, Clothes. And I know I make hats and headbands, but actual like tops, I can't do it. Okay, we have a guest. Like the tops and all that specifically, like Passionate Kelsey makes them and they're amazing. She looks beautiful in them. But I am very modest and I just couldn't. I don't feel comfortable making something that I would not personally wear. Which is just a personal opinion. But yeah. That and I hate cotton. Yeah, so I went out and bought a bunch, 2 skeins of cotton to make a custom order, and they ghosted me. So now I have like 2 skeins of cotton, and I don't know what to do with them, so I'm like... So the next question is, where do you get your inspiration from? And I want to say I do not copy anyone's work when I say this, but Pinterest. If I have a vision in my head of something that I want to do or want to make, I go to Pinterest and I find it so I can have a visual aspect of what I'm trying to create. And then I'll go and find an existing pattern, usually like, we'll just say a turtle, and then I'll use the base of that turtle pattern in the colors of whatever I found on Pinterest to replicate what I want. So I get my inspiration from Pinterest and I do use patterns, but yeah, I'm not plagiarizing because I don't sell any of the patterns, so but I do get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest and YouTube. Okay, this next one's really hard. It says, what is your favorite thing you've made so far this year? I'm gonna say Toothless. I loved making him, even though he was a pain. He was black yarn. Everything had to be sewn. I loved him. I actually just got a bunch of black yarn brunette scraps from that last video. I've got like 3 skeins of black now. I think I may have enough to make him in brunette, because I had to use Hobby Lobby's black last time. But I think I have enough brunette to make him in brunette black. But I just don't have the time, But he was my favorite. I really want to make light fury mod for him, because there is a light fury mod, but I need to figure out how to keep it in a bag so it doesn't get gross, because it's white, So if you have ideas, let me know. So this one's going to be a bit of a spoiler. I kind of already spoiled it, but it says crochet plans that you're excited for the future. We are doing a 30-day challenge. We're going to panorama you. But this, oh my goodness. Okay, these things are full. Those things. This is a nightmare and it's full. This thing is overflowing back there. And then above me. So, we are doing a 30-day challenge to see how much yarn we could possibly use up. Which is what is on my desk as well. These are all scraps from my yarn bag that I take to markets. So I'm trying to do like how much yarn can I use from the scraps over here. The problem is it's Tuesday night. I've got to do 2 more custom orders and I got to market prep. So I'm like, I need to have a dragon done by Sunday. So, but none of those colors are in this pile except for white. So I'm like, but I do want to do this challenge, but I need to, you know, I need to do those customs. So it's like, well, let me do SpongeBob. I'll just need to add brown in here, you know. So then I'm like, okay, let me do the candy corn. Because it's got, all these colors are on my desk. It's going to look cuter than this. But yeah, our secret exciting plan for the future, get this yarn under control. I hate how chaotic it is and messy, and this is literally just shoved in there. It is completely full, and it's just shoved there. And then I also hate the white there, because it's blocking my diamond painting. And my grandpa and I went to a lot of trouble to hang that up. So, future plans, we're going to get the stash under control. Hopefully. Okay, next question is the worst thing about crocheting. There's 2 things. 1, the wrist pain. Nightmare. 2 is going to be very specific to chenille yarn. But the shedding. If we could get rid of those 2 things, like, we'd be gold. Okay. Second to last question. What is my favorite thing about crocheting? I don't know if this question is going to come off as, conceited? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm not trying to be conceited when I say this, but the happiness it brings people. When people come into my booth and when they look around my store, they just get so excited. Like, their face and their, like, the praise, which I know is going to sound a little conceited, but them just enjoying my work makes everything worth it, and it just makes me so happy. A mom, I was actually using my booth as a lesson for her, I want to say teenager, but maybe young adult. I guess she was teaching her responsibility about money. So she was explaining about how she could have spent her money at, like, a mass-produced store, you know, something that's not handmade that you can get anywhere, but how spending her money at my booth was better, because it's handmade, it's made with love, better quality, and I took the time to make it, and she was explaining how this was a better way to spend her money, and that just brought, like, happiness to my heart. And for a bonus question, what is the worst and your favorite thing about being a content creator? So, let's get into it. So, I'm going to say the worst thing is also, you always got to be recording. You always got to be doing something, coming up with new things, keeping it interesting, you know. My channel has grown so much lately, and I'm so thankful for every one of you. But I do got to keep constantly recording, constantly making stuff. And like today, I personally was not feeling good. I took a nap and, like, I had this migraine. And I'm like, I don't want to record. But I didn't have enough content from this challenge to make a video. So I'm like, oh no, am I going to have to cancel Wednesday's video? But then thankfully I'm feeling better. So I'm like, okay, I can record. But it does come at a cost. It does take a lot of time. And it's a dedication. You gotta be dedicated to it. It's not something you can just, become YouTube famous. You gotta work at it. And that's fine. But it does take up a lot of time. The best thing though, the people. I love when you guys comment and I can talk to you guys and I see you guys interacting and the new followers. Like, that makes it all worthwhile. And I'm happy to have every one of you. This channel used to be all about my cats. And then it wasn't. And you guys still stuck around. So, yay. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all this content. To wrap up, my name is Kimberly. I probably should have done this at the beginning. I am not a full-time creator, unfortunately. I wanted to be, but my YouTube isn't big enough where I make money yet. We're getting there. But, so, I have 3 jobs. 4? We'll say 3. I've got my main job, which I do Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. Then I come home and I YouTube and market prep. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I'm at my store from usually 8 to 4:30 again. And then I come home and market prep. So those are my 2 jobs that make money. And then YouTube is my 3rd job, which fills in the gap of pretty much all my time. And a 4th job would technically be, if you count it, but not really. I do sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I have a table at the flea market. So I kind of like a side hustle, maybe not like a full-time job. But yeah, I have 4 jobs, give or take that 4th job. And I'm the proud owner of 3 little fur babes, which I was trying to get her over here, but she was not having it. Yep. I have a house, it's a condo, but it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo house thing that we own. We have 2 cars that we own. So yeah, that's everything about me. And hopefully the content is going to keep rolling. And I will see you guys maybe on Saturday? This video... Oh my goodness, my yarn's tangled. This video was supposed to be today's video. But then I wanted to make sure I got this challenge done. So maybe you'll see it Saturday. If not, you'll see it Wednesday. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you when I see you. Bye!